Today we have Halsey, If I Can't Have Love, I Want Power, and well, this is an album that was recommended to me, and it's mostly like indie pop, I guess, if I had to put it in a genre. Most of it is just like very. I don't want to call it simple, but definitely there isn't a lot of instruments going on, and usually when there is, they tend to be stuff like piano, synths that stay more in the background and everything. They don't tend to overtake the songs too much, which is also really funny because most of the songs are like max 3 minutes, so it's not like the instruments have time to actually take over or do anything for that matter. Now, to a certain degree, I like this because it does give the voice space to actually carry the songs, and definitely a lot of the melodies of the voice and everything, and a lot of the lyrics to carry the songs. They're definitely the, I guess, focal point of it. I mean, that's usually what happens with pop albums, is that it's mostly about the lyrics and the melodies of the lyrics, the hooks, as you call them. So I understand why that is, but at the same time, I'm a person that likes the beeps and the boops. I like the sounds. Those are the most interesting, and I mean, this album does have a fair share of them. Definitely, I always appreciate an interesting composition when it comes to the instrumentalization that albums usually have, and this one is no different. However, because the voice is the main thing and the mainstay of every single song and needs to sort of carry everything, at the same time, it does feel like some songs are missing sort of a punch to them. They're missing some power, and definitely when it comes to some of the production, it makes it feel like, to a point, sometimes the voice is detached from the instruments themselves. Like, instead of everything being a perfect blend of a song, sometimes in some songs everything just sort of feels like the voice is completely separate from the instruments, which makes it feel a bit worse in general. So in that regard, I actually, some of the songs I didn't enjoy them. However, just like the Linkin Park album that I uploaded, a review that I uploaded two days ago, something that happens in this album, much akin to that album, is the fact that the album that starts slower. Oftentimes when I review albums, they start very strong and then sort of slow down towards the end. It seems that this is basically like the opposite, where the albums start a little bit slower and then just really ramp up as they go. Because definitely, again, like the first 3 songs on the album, maybe 4, maybe even 5, I would say, to me are not that great, as in like that they don't pack as much of a punch, and it feels definitely that to a certain degree, there was certain exploration there, versus the latter half, where things just feel so much more in place. The production even is better, because a lot of the issues with the voice not feeling part of the instrumentalization happens mostly on the first few songs of the album. The rest of the album just feels completely fine, and it's, I guess, mixed better, I guess. But yeah, and I think part that contributes to that as well is most songs, because this is basically like a breakup album, I guess, if you will, right? It's in the name, like, if I can't have love, I want power. So basically, it does touch on a lot of the topics relating to, I guess, love and relationships, and essentially, a lot of the latter songs are more specifically indie pop, whereas some of the earlier songs do have these sort of, not necessarily indie rock, but do have that, more upbeat guitar-based, drum bass type of instrumentalization, which to me actually detracts from the songs. I understand the faster tempo, the upbeat and everything. I understand that it's a change of pace, but to me it's a change of pace that actually didn't work all that well. By far I prefer the songs that are slower, that, again, like, you already have a toned down instrumentalization to allow the voice to carry, so when the tempo is also slower, the voice has much more power and space to carry the songs that you are, in this case, singing, or the songs that are playing. So in that regard, the song not only feels like it has much more space in the songs, but the voice tends to also have much more power, and tends to be much more impactful than the instrumentalization. The songs that essentially involve a lot of drums and guitar that were, faster tempo, more upbeat, were by far my least favorite. Like by far my least favorite. They simply just don't function well with the voice and the type of singing that is being, employed here, I guess, right? And that's interesting because a lot of the other songs, for quote-unquote breakup songs, a lot of their instrumentalization is actually distinct from each other, right? They don't all have the same registry. I mean, they all share these, somewhat toned down instrumentalization, but, some are more focused on the, especially electronic sounds, others are more focused on, piano sounds. There's a song that is acoustic guitar, right, which work very well in terms of giving you different perspectives to the theme of the album and the theme of the songs. And unfortunately, what happens is that while all of that is great, then you do have sort of these songs that are more, upbeat, that kind of just ruin the vibe. In my opinion, they were really not needed, because when those songs happen, the songs with toned down instrumentalization, you can really feel that the voice really pays off. The singing really pays off, and it's really highlighted, and it highlights how good and how, especially captivating it ends up being, right? My favorite song, for example, is 1121. It's definitely my favorite song, and it's sort of like again, it has that breakup style, but it's a slower song. It's more of a I don't want to say sad, because a lot of the songs in this album aren't sad, but they're more like menacing, I guess, to a certain degree, right? They have more this sort of dark twist to the breakup style song, right? Which is why, to me, the production is actually really interesting. So definitely in that regard, I do prefer these songs, and I do think that the album would have done much better with more of these songs than, necessarily spending time on 2 or 3 songs that were, again, more like indie rock. I don't know if they were indie rock, but they were more like rock style, and with faster singing, not allowing the voice to shine as hard. Because if you have an entire album that is pretty much composed around the singer and the voice of the singer, and then you have songs that don't allow the singer to shine, of course the songs are not going to feel as good, and they're going to feel lower quality and more detached from what the singer can do. Because towards the latter half of the album, especially those last few songs of the album, you can really see that she is much more powerful with that. The voice has much more impact, and to me the problem isn't necessarily even the tempo. I think to me the problem is fast tempo with an happy song type thing, right? Like an happy registry, or I guess, singing in major key, I guess that's what it would be, right? Because when the singer here has more of a take or a perspective that is darker, that is more, menacing, like she's plotting something, right? That tends to actually work much better, even if you have faster tempo songs. It just seems that the voice and the way of singing she does, it's simply much more captivating when you have that sort of villain style perspective or posture in the songs, as opposed of these happy indie rock thing going on. But yeah, that's pretty much it. My vibe meter is telling me like a 7 out of 10. Yeah, 7 out of 10. Let's go with a 7 out of 10. So yeah, I never heard the Halsey before. I don't know, I've never heard this artist before, so this was my first venture into this artist. I can see why they're definitely popular. I can see what's appealing about them. So yeah, 7 out of 10, I think it's fair.